Frank Giavello with The Contending. In Kleber Mendonça Filho's extraordinary film, The Secret Agent, Wagner Moura delivers a complex, captivating performance that has landed him in the Oscar conversation. I am so pleased to be speaking with him today. Welcome, Wagner.
Thanks, Frank. Likewise, it's nice to be talking to you, man. I can see the Civil War poster behind you
Yes,
over there, which is there because you're talking to me, or it's always there?
it's usually there. I love the film very much.
I I love that film very much too. I really like that movie, so I'm very glad to see it there.
I also have to mention I'm a big fan of Futura Beach.
Oh, I really like that film, man. That's great. Kareem Mainou's film. I have a new project with him, and I'm very, very happy to be working with Kareem
Oh, that's
again.
exciting to hear. Wonderful. Um, are you recovered from the Golden Globes festivities?
Dude, I'm in London right now. Can you believe it? We partied. The party was there. There were a bunch of Brazilians around, so we had a very nice party. And I basically woke up and packed and went to the airport. But it's a very good moment. We are very happy, of course.
I can only imagine. I mean, with all the Oscar buzz, it must be exciting, but are you also feeling a little award season fatigue?
No, Frank, it's interesting because of course, it's a lot of work. I've never been in a campaign before. It's one thing is like to promote a movie, which I've done millions of times, and it's a lot of work. But this is different, right? Like we've been doing this since May, since Cannes. And it's great that the film has been keeping the attention of everybody since then. It's almost more than 6 months ago. So, of course, it's a lot of work, but at the same time, it's not all the time that you get all that attention, especially for a Brazilian film, and Brazilians are very proud of it, and we are very happy with it. So it's of course it's very rewarding. We're very happy with it.
I want to talk about that because I'm still here and Secret Agent have these themes in common, obviously, set during the dictatorship. And these stories are so urgent right now with authoritarianism kind of taking over the world, and certainly in this country, my country.
Mhm.
I want
Yeah,
I want you to speak, if you can, speak a little bit about the importance.
I think it is. I mean, for us, listen, the dictatorship happened 50 years ago only. I was born during the dictatorship. So sometimes people go like, "Oh, should we keep doing films about the dictatorship?" I go like, "Yeah, we should." We recently had a president that attempted a coup d'etat
Wow.
in Brazil. He's now in jail for that. Finally, Brazilian institutions are getting even with our memory. Because The Secret Agent is also a film about memory or the lack of memory. Like, but and we are now like the moment that we sent Bolsonaro to jail and military people that attempted against democracy in Brazil to jail. I feel that we are kind of starting to become a country where we're preserving the memory for the next generations, like when they can go like, oh, so, people that did that kind of thing were punished by what they did. That had never happened in
Mm.
Brazil, before. And I think that Jair Bolsonaro was a physical manifestation of the echoes of that dictatorship and a physical manifestation of that lack of memory that our country had. You know, yeah.
And you and Kleber were very vocal, about that. Can you speak a little bit about how you got involved in the film and your relationship with Kleber, your shared activism, if you will?
We met in Cannes 20 years ago, and he was a critic back then. We hit it off because we are from the same region, the northeast of Brazil. We became friends, and then and he invited me to be in Bacurau, his previous film. I couldn't do it because I was directing my own film back then. But what put us together in The Secret Agent was politics, was exactly when I received the New York Film Critics Circle Award. I thanked Bolsonaro because I think that without him we wouldn't. He was the one who really put Kleber and I together, because when we had that fascist president in Brazil trying to bring back to Brazil of the 21st century the values of the dictatorship. That's when Kleber and I started to call each other and go like, we have to, what are we going to do about this? Because like you said, we were both vocal against him, and in any other fascist fashion, we both suffered the consequences of that.
Wow.
You know, so 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 yeah. So we what put us together in the secret agent was politics. What was going on in Brazil from 2018 to 2022.
It's amazing in the result. Secret Agent has something I think in common with another international feature, and that's sentimental value. Because with both films, I felt this intense love for the film medium.
Yes, yes, that's interesting. They're very different in their in you know in their in what their the film their both films are very different in their themes, and but I feel the love. I feel I understand what you're saying. The love for the language of filming. And Joaquin is such an amazing filmmaker as well. This is another great thing about this season. You keep on, especially because most of the international films are all neon films. So we keep bumping into each other, like Oliver from Sirat, Joaquin, and the actress from Sentimental Value, Jafar Panahi, the amazing Jafar, who told me a very interesting story. Do you want to hear this? This is a crazy story that Jafar told me that when he was in jail in Iran, there was a guard that had a pen drive with with television stuff. That he would put the pen drive and the prisoners would be able to watch some TV sometimes. And the thing that very particular guard had in that pen drive was Narcos. So Jafar Panahi was watching Narcos in a prison in Iran. Isn't that crazy?
That's
Like
mind
what?
blowing.
That's mind blowing. Can you imagine? Like I was like, I can't believe this. In my wildest dreams, I would never think that that filmmaker that I admire so much, and by the way, I love Iranian films, and my heart right now with with all the Iranians and what's going on in Iran right now. But I grew up watching Iranian films, and I'm a big fan of Jafar. So that was an interesting story. But you're right, Lenny. The Sentimental Value is a film that it was the first of all these international films that I saw, and I'm like, I've absolutely loved The Worst Person in the World, and I think that the Joaquin and Renat, one of those combinations that are beautiful to see.
Absolutely. Much like you and Kleber. Um,
Hopefully, yeah.
yeah. So much of the power, I think, of the secret agent comes from your face, your reactions, and your love for your son in the film.
Yeah, it's a character that he doesn't speak much. He doesn't say much. It's and that's another thing that happens with dictatorships, right? You are not allowed to speak. You should lay low. You have to. I mean, the amount of things that happened to him, the amount of injustices that happened to that man. I don't know if probably you know, eh, you would go like you would scream and try to break things down and say something. I don't know, but during a dictatorship, it's hard. That's what happens. And then he had to keep everything within himself. So most of the things that you see happening to him they all happen internally. He doesn't say it. He can't, or break something or say something, or it's a very stoic character, I think.
That's where so
And
much of the power comes from, I think. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's something that Kleber wanted since the get-go, and usually I've never done a character like that before. I'm usually more like I think I try to bring myself a lot to the characters that I play, and when we got when when the situations are like with regard to injustices and social things and like that, I'm usually more loud and and explosive, and I think that Kleber knew it, and he because he also wanted me to do something that he hadn't seen me doing before, I guess, and I think this was a perfect character for that.
Were you able to let him go at the end of the day, Wagner?
Yeah, but you know what happens? You let it go, but it stays in you. I don't want this to feel like an actor's, but it really does because what we do happens in our body. It's like so. I'm 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 I've said that this thing before, and but it's I don't know how to say it better because you do a scene, you make a scene, and and like an emotional scene, and right after the scene your mind is like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna, I have these things to do and I'm gonna see my kids. But when you grab a bottle, your hand is shaking, so your body doesn't know that whatever you did that was a lie. Do you know what what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? So these things, you let it go rationally, you let it go, but somehow these things they stay in your in your body, And so I think that, and I've been learning how to protect myself, like depending on what I'm gonna do, like to take care of myself, physically and spiritually, um, mentally, because they affect you somehow.
Yeah, it takes
Like,
its toll.
I spent 2 years playing Pablo Escobar, and I gained 40 pounds for that shit. Of course, that affected me. Like it's impossible. But it's not here. It's in the body.
When did you know you wanted this? When did you know this was your calling, if you will?
I don't know. I started when I was 15, but not because I thought it was my call. I wanted to hang out with that kind of people. I found people. I wanted to hang out with theater people. Which till today I think are the coolest people in the world. I was just doing theater a couple of months ago, and I have to keep coming back to theater because theater kind of teaches me, like make me understand why I do this. Uh, uh, Sort of like positions myself, put myself in like, oh, so this is why you do this. And yeah, but I don't know. I graduated as a journalist and then worked as a journalist and was working on stage and working as a journalist at the same time. And you start to feel that, oh, this is something that I like, that I enjoy doing it, and people start to pay attention at what you do. So it's a combination of things. But when I started as an actor, when I was a teenager, I just wanted to be around that kind of people. I didn't think that I was talented or anything.
Wow. Well, I wanted to ask you in your speech, you mentioned memory and the lack thereof. And there's a lot of fear right now. There's a lot of fear here in this country. I have colleagues who are afraid to post things for fear of retaliation.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because I feel like you were kind of fearless in what you did. Uh, do you have any advice for how people should proceed right now?
I with In the end of my speech, I said something like, "This is to the people that are sticking with their values, when when things around them are, and I think this is exactly what happens to my character in The Secret Agent, which is of course a very personal thing. Of course, the character is a reflection of what Kleber and I were going through under Bolsonaro, and I think that's a very hard thing to do, but it's also very rewarding when you look back and you go like, yeah, man, I didn't bend. I suffered the consequences. I stood up and it feels good, but it's not easy. Also, it's not, and also what I don't like is when there's pressure on like public figures or people like to say, speak up, go speak, do it. Some people are not ready to do it because if you're not ready to do it, you shouldn't do it, because the backlash is can be brutal, can be. But if you feel that this is your thing, and if you don't do it, you're not gonna be able to sleep at night, then do it. You know,
I
that's
love
that's
that.
that. I think, yeah.
Yeah, Wagner, I have one last question for you. I know you're going to be directing your second
Yes.
feature.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about It's Last Night of the Lobster?
Last night at the Lobster.
At the
It's
Lobster.
it's at the Lobster. It's based on and this beautiful book by this great American writer Stuart Onan, produced by the great Peter Seraph, great producer of independent, a fighter of the American independent films. Uh, and, and it's a film that it has to be shot in the winter. I'm gonna act and direct for the first time, and the first time that I'm gonna direct something in English. It's me, Sophia Carson, Brian Tyree Henry, and Elizabeth Moss, and another other actors that we are still casting, and takes place during it's the story of this. It's a Christmas film. It's a Christmas movie. I think it's an anti-capitalism Christmas film. As surprisingly, I think all of the Christmas films are. And I think we don't have time, but I would love to talk about it later with you. But it's a film about these employees of this food chain restaurant that got fired a week before Christmas. So that's basically the day, a day in their the day where they know that they're gonna get fired, and I play the manager that has to give them the information, and I have to choose five of them to take with me to another. It's a very brutal and cruel, but very funny and very yeah. Matter of fact, it's about one of my favorite genres in the world, which is films about working class people, like those Italian films from like from the Italian neorealism, or the British directors here like Ken Loach and Mike Lee, film directors that I love, and deeply grounded in the Brazilian tradition of political films too. But it's gonna be a fun one.
Oh God, well, I can't wait. Well, we'll talk more about it when it's released, made and released. In the meanwhile, I want to wish Secret Agent has been one of my favorite films since I saw it at the New York Film Festival, and your performance is one of the best of the year. I want to send out positive energy for
Thank you.
January 22nd and the future.
Thanks, but I'm receiving it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Take care, friend.
Bye bye.